I have been doing videos recently on the ideology on westernized religions and why I no longer believe in that false ideology. And I no longer believe in the mythical tales that I have been taught. And I have been getting some responses from Christians. And someone wrote me and said, "Miss Maxie, I think you have some bitterness and anger issues with the church. This is what fuels your desire to research in pursuit of proving the Bible false." Again, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Okay, my response to him is, well, I disagree, because I've always been somebody who just liked to know things. I've always been somebody who was interested in history. I've always been somebody who did research. I mean, I was in high school doing research, okay, on the Bible while I was in high school. So, I mean, most of my research, however, over the years has always affirmed my belief in Jesus. Most material that I was reading was written by people that are in the same brainwashing program as I was in. Okay, I was truly convinced that Jesus Christ was an historical figure until I found out he was not. Jesus is simply the latest on the list of God-man saviors like Krishna, Mithra, Jupiter, Zeus, Horus, you name it. And somebody else wrote, "I believe there is something going on here with Miss Maxie. Something more than what we are able to see on her videos. There is some background/internal issues that are greatly influencing this new position. This newfound evidence is just the shell. I could be wrong, but I don't believe I am. I just pray to that it is not too late and that God will shake her and bring her to her knees in repentance because of his great love for her and those like her." I mean, well, my response is, you can pray all you want, but you are praying to a solar deity named Jesus Christ. Do you understand that Jesus was only a solar deity that was worshipped by an ancient Gnostic Christian sect before he was turned into a god at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD? I mean, the divinity of Jesus was voted on at this council in 325 AD. That was called by the Roman Emperor Constantine. And, basically they voted to deify Jesus Christ. If you really want to call upon anybody, you should be calling upon Yahshua, because that is the real man of history. Yahshua was a revolutionary leader during the Messianic movement that was in Judea, in the Roman province, Judea, in the 1st century AD. I believe there was a man named Yahshua, and his story was basically used to create the mythological Jesus of the four Gospels. Yahshua was a revolutionary leader. Basically, he was crucified by the Romans because he was a type of messianic leader. Okay, so go do your research. Please go do your research if you don't believe me. Also, I just want to read another post that I received from someone. And this person said, "Shut the hell up, Miss Maxie." 74, that's me. "The church should be the last people." Wrong. "The church should be the first people to condemn it. Next, get your black chip off your shoulder and grow up. Nearly every black sold into slavery was sold by another black. The black Africans sold off their own black captured slaves just as they do today. The only place in the world where slavery still occurs is in Africa, where blacks own blacks." Okay, this is my response. What the Europeans did during the slave trade is minimal compared to what a few African kings did in regard to selling African Hebrew Israelites to the Europeans. Let's not forget the Arabs and European Jews, who also had a major hand in the selling and trading of millions of African Hebrew Israelites. In addition, Pope Martin V had sanctioned the slave trade of Africans in the 15th century AD. The Pope had originally authorized a crusade against Africa in 1418. Years later, he authorized the Portuguese trade in African slaves. Really, the Roman Catholic Church has been in the business of selling and trading slaves since the 1st century AD. Every country that Rome has decimated in the entire world since antiquity, they traded in slaves, which is why Europe and America are among the richest countries in the world today. The Europeans attained all their wealth, royalty, and civilization from advanced African civilized nations. The Roman priesthood and aristocracy have also stolen religious concepts from the peoples they controlled and consistently slaughtered. The Hebrew Israelites were exiled out of Spain and Portugal in the 15th century AD, and of course it was Portugal that had roughly 45% of the slave trade, which is why this country is so wealthy today. Having been exiled to the west coast territories of Africa, the African Hebrews were rounded up and forced onto slave ships, one of those ships being called the Good Ship Jesus, and were shipped off to Spanish, Portuguese, and English territories in the Caribbean, North and South American colonies. Please get your facts straight 100% before you come at me with any more bullshit. Please go read a book before you make any more comments to me about what Africans did to other blacks or to other Africans. Okay?